Okay. So guys, if you all feel comfortable sitting wherever you are at, let's start. Today we're going to have about 1 hour seminar on tips to sound like a native speaker. I will give you a few slides to give you some interesting motivation why you should be here. It's good you're here, but maybe you're thinking, well, I just have to be here because it's the St. Nicholas Day and I have to pay some money because it's St. Nicholas Day. That's the wrong motivation. You know, I think that you're here because you love English, you're passionate about English, and there are some extra things that you'd like to know about how you can improve your written, first of all, the written skills. I'm not talking about the oral skills, but first of all, the written skills. How to sound like a native speaker. So, in the first slide, I would like to show you an interesting motivation spoken by Michael Jordan. I believe that we all make mistakes, and we will always make mistakes. I mean, there's nothing new in it, but here's what he said. I missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. 26 times I was trusted to take the game-winning shot, and I missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. So it's absolutely okay to make mistakes. It's absolutely okay to miss more than 9,000 shots. It means you make the same mistake over and over and over again, but there is a moment in life when you stop making it. When you become not just a regular player, not just a regular speaker of English, but someone like Michael Jordan in terms of the language you speak, the foreign language. So there are some people who can be on the level of intermediate. It's called the intermediate level for a long, long time. Years and years. And they may never get out of that level. They will stay in that level for the rest of their lives. But some people will be more than average, will be better than average, like Michael Jordan. They will fail, but sooner or later in their lives they will start changing. And this seminar is for those who want to start changing. For those who want to pay attention to little things. What is the difference between a native speaker in the written language? I'm not talking about the accent, but in the written language. What is the difference between a native speaker and a Ukrainian English learner? It's in the details. In small things that we consider not important, but they're very much important, they speak volumes about who the person is, the one who writes it. Now, here is an interesting cover. It's a cover page of a magazine. Now, probably you've heard about this book and movie, Eat, Pray, Love. And in this movie, Julia Roberts was the one who starred. Now, this is kind of it's a magazine imitating that title of the book. It says, Eat, Ray, Love. Ray is this person, Rachel Ray. And down below it says, Rachel Ray finds inspiration in cooking her family and her dog. What did I just say? She finds inspiration in cooking her family and her dog. Wow. So she actually cooks her family, and she cooks her dog, and she finds inspiration. That sounds like, you know, I don't know. It's like a killer, a serial killer who's got a special way of killing people, cooking them. So, but actually there's something missing. What's missing in this cover page? There's one little thing missing. All right. Rachel finds inspiration in cooking for her family and her dog. So she finds inspiration in cooking for her dog. I mean, does this sound a little bit strange?
For cooking in her family and in her dog.
For cooking.
Yes.
Rachel Ray finds inspiration for cooking.
In her family and her dog.
For cooking in her family and in her dog. Cooking in her dog. Well, there's one little thing missing. One tiny detail. What's that? I don't think the person who actually printed it simply could have missed the word for. I mean, for is a big word to miss, but something little. What's that? A comma. A comma. That's what the author, or not the author, but the editor probably, missed. Rachel Ray finds inspiration in cooking, comma, her family and her dog. That's what grammar is. Grammar is important, and the difference between a native speaker and an English learner is in the tiny details. We forget about those details, but they're important. So, you don't see this, but I will enlarge this right now. This is a letter, this is a full letter, from, this letter was reprinted in Izvestia in 2015. This newspaper, this Russian newspaper, actually presented this letter as a real letter written by the United States Department of State that says we are going to support a Russian LGBT movement. But if you see well, you don't see it very properly here, but like this, if you can see this. This was actually a response by the actual United States department. I don't remember whether it was Twitter or Facebook, but exactly by their official account. And they said, maybe you don't see this here, but they say, уважаемые известия, в следующий раз, когда будете использовать фальшивые письма, присылайте нам, будем рады помочь исправить ошибки. Искренне ваш Госдеп. So what happened was, someone tried to sound like a native speaker. Someone tried to fake a letter written by supposedly written by the United States, Department of State, but it was a fake. And now the Department of State actually corrected. Let's make some conclusions from how they corrected. So, the article, the actual name is United, I can give it, you can't see it here, but it says United States Department of State. But it's the title. But once you put this title inside of a sentence, of course you have to use that. The United States Department, everybody knows that, right? If you look at the map, you will see United States of America. But if you place this, not name, the title of the country inside the sentence, you should go with the. So the United States Department of State, then they deleted the Russian aggression here, then they took away public rally and so on. Here they again put the United States, the consistent actions. Now there's a very interesting mistake. They wrote between human rights organizations. And here there's a correction, among. What is the difference? These two words sound very much, they sound identical in Ukrainian. Sad. Who cares? Sad. But in English there's among and there is between. What's the difference?
Between is two.
Yes, exactly. So I think you would have faked this letter better. They should have hired you to fake the letter. So see, between and among. One and the same word in Ukrainian, but there are two words in English. How didn't they know about it? And there's an interesting thing that everywhere in this letter they corrected the acronym LGBT. Well, and you know what that is, right? But in America, the acronym is a little bit different. They have this letter I there, I, which is intersexed. It's interesting. They wanted to fake the letter, but they even didn't know how the native speakers, how the country itself uses the acronym. They don't have LGBT. They have LGBT and I. That's their organization. And everywhere in this letter, they inserted this I. So it's just another example of how vast the difference is between us and them, but still, let's be like Michael Jordan. Let's fail, but to succeed. Fail, but to succeed. Okay, let's start. The first thing that I would like to share with you is, is this little thing that we call an article, but we miss or we tend to add wherever it doesn't belong to. Let's have a look. I call it like this. We tend to add where we should subtract, and we subtract where we should add. There are 4 examples here. It's a third-party software. You don't have N access. Allow 24 hours for A propagation, DNS propagation. You don't have a free space, and it will be a brand new hardware. All of these sentences have one and the same mistake. I think that it's the reason. One of the reasons that we want to make it sound like it should be in English. And to make it sound like it should be in English, we need to add something that we don't have. For example, we don't have articles. So we add a, although it shouldn't be there. Who knows why? Who knows why it's wrong to say a third-party software, an access, a propagation, a free space, a hardware? Why is it wrong?
It's not counted.
Yes, exactly. Software is not countable. Hardware is not countable. Space, it cannot be countable. Here, an access. Well, there's a very rare thing when you can say the access. For example, the access that I have is really limited. I'm trying to specify. But usually the word access is not used with any articles. Here's the difference. Once you write this, it's a third-party software, I can already tell you're not, and quite often you're someone from Slavic countries. Slavic countries. So Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, and so on. This is very typical of us. Ukrainian, Russian, Belarusian, English learners, we have a big problem with articles. So, but here is another sentence. It looks like some of your software was outdated. What's wrong with this sentence? Of course, some of your software. So it's not about it's not about articles here. Some your software. We simply translate literally what we think. Some your software, but in English it's some of. Exactly, some of your software. And look at this. Software and hardware probably are the basic IT words, right? Just like the word internet. But we seem to make mistakes with the basic words. I'm not talking about some technical processes like backup is being taken and things like that, but very simple words. Software, hardware, they're already a problem to us. Okay, let's talk about the word downtime. You know, everybody knows what the word downtime means, but how? How is it used? Should it be used with an article or without it? Here's an example. But all these are taken from actual books published or available on Google Books. But a downtime of 30 minutes every Saturday evening for regularly scheduled maintenance might be fine. Here we have a downtime of 30 minutes. But in the second sentence we see anyone who runs an online business knows that website downtime, and there's no article here, equates to lost profits. So what do we see? The word downtime has multiple meanings. If you're talking about a length of something, a length of time, in this case it's okay, and downtime of 30 minutes. But if you're talking about the inactivity, inactivity is already uncountable. Downtime as inactivity. In this case, surely no preposition. Again, very small things, but I will definitely tell by these small things whether you're a native speaker or you're just an English learner. Let's talk about the details. There's a saying, the devil is in the details. And the word detail is extremely often used, and very often incorrectly, in customer support tickets. Here are some examples. Could you please clarify in details your question? And I think all of you might think, what's wrong with this question? Could you please clarify in details your question? But by writing so, I can tell you are not a native speaker, and I'll tell you why. We've checked your log files more detailed. We've checked your log files more detailed. I think that the writer wanted to say більш детально, but більш детально is not more detailed. Could you please explain your request detailed? Now, probably he wanted to say, or she wanted to say детально, again, detailed. That's not what it is. Please describe how we can reproduce an issue as detailed as possible. Who can say what's the right way here? For example, let's talk about this one. I've told you, and those who have been attending English classes, you're supposed to know, because I've told you this a number of times. So what's wrong with the first sentence?
In detail should be in the end.
So you're trying to say, could you please clarify your question in details? That's what you think.
In detail.
So if you go, good. If you go and look this, if you look this phrase up in a dictionary, you will find there is no such phrase as in details.
With details.
In details, there's no such phrase. There is a phrase in detail. In detail. Tiny thing, but I will definitely tell you're just a learner. Because this is how we speak. Детали. It's our language and we simply, literally translate that. But in reality, it's in detail. Now let's talk about this one. We've checked your log files more detailed. How can we say, if we want to say більш детально, how can we literally, there are many ways how to say it, but let's translate it literally, but correctly. How can we say this? Більш детально.
You have checked your log files more deeply.
Now use the word detail. Try to translate as literally as possible.
Using more details.
Well, if you want to use the word detailed, it can be like this. In a more detailed way, if you want so. If you want to use the word detailed, then you have to say in a more detailed way. That will be the literal translation. If you wanted to translate it literally, this way it will be like this, in a more detailed way. But it sounds too big.
More detailed with at ending?
Yes, in a more detailed way. Okay, so could you please explain your request detailed? How can you change that? Okay, you can say in a more detailed way, but it's a big sentence. How would a native speaker say that?
Second.
Yeah, we're talking about the third one, for example. It's so easy. With more details. With more details. So simple.
But second.
Second, we check your log files. More detailed. Doesn't work.
But native speaker, how would?
What is the
In this case, it will be we have checked. Now you check log files. Probably he would say more deeply in this case. Yeah, but more detailed. I don't think this is the right word here. All right. So the devil is in the details. Small things, but these are the things that differentiate us as native speakers.
How about as detailed as possible?
As I would say, with as much detail as possible. With as much detail as possible. Now, I'm going to give you a joke. This is a joke. It's a grammar joke. And, well, your job is to try to understand what the joke is about. So, here's a little girl, I guess, or a boy, on the chair. So, the chair is like this. On the chair. And, now that's a girl. Now, Mama says, Alice, stay on your chair. It's dinner time. Mama, stay on your chair. On your chair. And she says, Alice says, I am on the chair. And then the chair collapses and Alice with it. Crash. And then Mommy picks up Alice, little Alice, and she says, on the seat with your bottom sitting. And the little girl says, oh, you mean in my chair. What is the joke? What is the joke about? What's the difference between on the chair and in the chair? So on the chair, and in the chair. See? Do we know about this? These are simple things, in, on, but they make a difference. They tell you who you actually are. Now, if it's a stool, it's perfectly okay to say on a stool. But if it's got a back, see, like an armchair, you are in the chair. So this joke is about prepositions, because now we're going to look at some sentences with lots of mistakes with prepositions. So, for example, you can test it on your location. What's wrong with this sentence?
in location?
Of course, in. So if you want to use the word on, the preposition on with location, you're talking about shooting movies. For example, The Lord of the Rings was shot on location in New Zealand. So in location. Now, DKIM should be something like provided on screenshot. What's wrong with the preposition here? Everybody knows what the word screenshot means. I think even those who don't speak English know the word screenshot. But what's wrong with this sentence? In the screenshot. Screenshot is like a picture, a photo. So it's in the photo, in the screenshot. Now you should know. That's the difference. Again, little things. Where do you want to see these should be probably addresses, in the internet or in your local network? Now, guys, if you are an IT specialist, if you have been an IT specialist for many years, and if you don't know how to use the word internet in English, in this case, it's I would be ashamed of that. It's not in the internet. It's on the internet. On the internet. On Facebook, on Google, on Twitter, on YouTube, on the internet. Please remember this. If you're talking about in the internet, then you're talking about the inside of the internet, so the protocols and things like that. It's a very, very specific, very, very narrow usage of this of this notion, the internet. So 90%, maybe 9% would be on the internet. Remember this. Looks like there was brute force attack to your cloud server. What's wrong with this sentence? Yes, attack on. Why do we make this mistake? Probably because we think attack on is too Ukrainian, right? Atakana. It's too Ukrainian. We need to change it to make it sound more English. But this is the mistake.
Attack
You attack on. If it's a noun, it's an attack on your cloud server. Then replace current main IPs, 2 additional. What's wrong with this sentence? Yes, of course you should say, if we're talking about the preposition, it's replace not to, but replace with. But the sentence should be, it should have 1 at least. Good. Note that it's completely on your own risk. On your own risk. Literal translation, na vaš vlastni risk. On your own risk. Exactly. At your own risk. Here are some links which may be useful for you. Useful to you. It's not clear for me. It's not clear to me. It's always clear to me, useful to me, not for. Guys, not for. So here are things which we need to correct at your cPanel backup configuration. Who says so? But it's very popular for some reason. It's not at configuration, but what? In configuration, definitely. I will check your backups in the next week. In the next week, this is the literal translation of na nastupnому тижні. How can we say this correctly in English?
Just next week.
Exactly. Not on your next week, not in the next week. If you're trying to say during the next week, it's one thing. You can say during the next week. So it means sometime between Monday and Sunday. That's during the next week. But there's a difference. If you just say next week, it means this week, this is week 1, and then week 2, then week 3. It's order. This week, next week. I will do this next week. But there's a whole different thing. During the next week, we might get a call from the embassy. So I'm just saying that during one of the days, so there's a difference. In tickets, you have just to say next week, and that's it. Unfortunately, there is nothing more we can assist you from our end. What's wrong here? Of course. Here, we simply skip a preposition. Assist somebody with something. There is very little I can assist you with. And you finish the sentence with. Test your domains at the environment. Yes, environment. Zone. So it's in the world, in the environment, in the sphere, in the zone. Of course, in the environment. Okay? We're talking about prepositions. Now, a few words from Richard Branson. Who's that guy?
Investor.
Sorry? Yeah, so this guy's pretty rich. That's what he says. Whenever I'm faced with a problem, I try to reframe it as an opportunity. Why are we reading this? Pay attention to how he uses the word faced. And now let's read our tickets. I'm sorry, I have faced with some problems. I have faced with some problems. We're sorry you have faced with such a problem. Do you see the difference? What's the difference?
Problems have.
We can skip with and then.
Yes. If you use with, you have to be like Richard Branson. If you want to use with the word face, you have to be like Richard Branson, and you have to say, I'm sorry, I am faced. I am faced with. I am faced with. This is passive voice. I am faced with a problem. Now, but if you don't want to be like Richard Branson, it's okay. You can just say, I have faced some problems. Active voice. I have faced an issue, active voice. I am faced with an issue, passive voice. So it's your choice whether you want to be Richard Branson or someone else. Make your choice. Don't just forget that if you use am, if you want to use with, you have to use it in the passive voice. Am faced with. Now, what do you guys know about Hillary and Bill? The Clintons family.
They still not divorced?
No, they're not divorced. Why are they not divorced? Let's talk about this. There is only one reason, focus on the word reason. There's only one reason Bill and Hillary are still married. They can't testify. What's testify against the judge? Yes, they can't, because each one of them knows too many secrets about the other. Focus on the word reason. What's the meaning of the word reason here? Okay, let's talk about these sentences. It can be the reason for the issue. This sentence is wrong. This sentence is written by a non-native speaker. Why is it wrong?
Of course.
Reason off is even wronger, if I can say it. Sorry?
Oh,
Why instead of from?
Reason. What is reasoning? Human judgment. Reasoning. It's we, humans, making choices. Here, it can be the reason for the issue. It's the cause of the issue. If it's a machine, it's the cause of the problem, the cause of the issue. So wrong configuration, bad connection, loss of packets, it's cause of the issue. Reason is, for example, you have been blocked. Well, because you had made a choice to send spam. That was your choice. In this case, there is a reason. Human judgment. But cause is something different. Okay, here's an icy road. An icy road. And I can say that the cause of the accident was ice on the road. Right? The cause of the accident. But if I'm the driver, I can say that the reason for the accident was that I turned the wheel to the left because I wanted to save a child standing in front of the car. That was the reason. I turned to the left and I hit the other car, but in this case, I made the choice. So here, remember this. If you're talking about Hillary and Clinton, Hillary and Bill Clinton, then yes, there is a reason. There is a reason they have made a choice to stay together. But if you're talking about machines, it's the cause of the issue. I don't see any reason, don't see any cause. And of course, to log in, there's no such verb as log in. Log in. Two different words. Okay. What's the problem with listening? What's the problem with listening, guys? Everybody knows that. The biggest communication problem is we do not listen to understand. We listen to reply. We listen to understand. We don't listen to understand, we listen to reply. How does this happen? What does it have to do with servers, with the IT work? Well, let's talk about Apache. Apache is listening. What's wrong with the sentence? Apache is listening 443 4. Sorry? Listening 1, maybe 2?
2. But not.
Maybe at, maybe in?
Apache listen to.
No.
Oh, okay, let's wait. And then what about this sentence? First of all, a native speaker does not write 25 port. They all write port 25. Remember this. Version 2, not 2 version, but version 2, port 25. So 24.
It has not been listed.
Okay, so see, there is a problem with the word listening. It's an excerpt. I took it away from a book, and this book even gives you the code with port 80 and port 443. Let's read this. This is telling Apache to listen on port 80 and to listen to port 443. And then we have this configuration. So both are possible. You can listen to port is possible. Listen on port is possible. What's the difference?
Not listening. To port, it's like accepting requests.
Yeah.
And listening on, it's like working port.
Yeah. So see, but in our language, for some reason, we make a mistake. We forget prepositions. We use even the passive voice. Oh, sorry. We use even the passive voice, but you shouldn't use passive voice in here. So this port is listening. It's okay. Is listening, or something is listening on port, or you're listening to port. It's all about the meaning, whether it's a direction or just like it says direction or location. That's the difference. Now let's talk about another very, very popular mistake. Almost every time I see the word another or other, there is a mistake. It's so popular, and I've told so many times about it, but still we're making those mistakes. So there's a little image about apples, but first let's read this. It can be caused by some changes in cPanel or PHP. What? No. That you have made for another website. What's wrong here? Another website. Other websites, because other is plural. Other apples. And what about another locations? Other locations. Other apples. maybe there are another solution. Oh, this is a bit more difficult. Another. We should use the word another with only what? Singular, countable noun. Is the word solution a singular, countable noun? Yes. But what's wrong with the sentence? Because the word some, you have the word some. In the English language, you cannot put some and another together. Always some other. Take a note of that, and don't write some another solution.
Can we use a another solution?
A another? No. Another takes the place of articles. So, okay. Then the backup files must be copied to your PC or other server. What's wrong? Other server. And this time you should write another server. It seems that it is banned by some another system. Again, some another, some other system. Oh, this is very popular. In other case. In other case. In other case. What's wrong here? In another case. But who uses in another case? Probably only Ukrainian and Russian English learners. What would a native speaker say? What would a native speaker say in this case? Huh?
Otherwise.
Of course, otherwise. Otherwise. If you don't know this word, please find this in the dictionary. Otherwise. Okay. Do or make. A very popular mistake that actually speaks of whether you're a native speaker or... Native speakers don't even think about it. It comes out naturally, but we make mistakes. Let's have a look. We'll just make some tests with TCP done. You're talking about performing tests. You're not talking about writing tests. If you say make, you're talking about creating. This is not about creating. Do is perform. Make is create. Before rebuilding your server, please make sure that you have done that. If you check this using Google Ngrams, I mean the frequency of this word. So the vast majority talks about making a backup. Why? Because a backup is a copy. You create a copy. You make a copy. So it's better to say to make a backup rather than to do a backup. I made system update. What's wrong with this thing? Of course there's an article missing here, but what else is missing? If you say I make an update, who are you in this case? What's your position? Huh?
Maker.
Yeah, you're the maker. You're the developer. But if you do an update, you are a support engineer. Big difference, right? So you do an update. I'm terribly, this is a very interesting sentence. I have a question, you guys. What is to go an extra mile? What is to go, by the way, you didn't know it's a biblical idiom. Sorry? To do some extra work for free, right? You are not obliged to do it. It's your choice. You do it for free. You do it. Now, what if you say, you don't say we've done an extra mile for you. You say we have made an extra mile for you. So there is a problem, right? There is a problem. And you're trying to solve this problem. And you say, I have made an extra mile for you. For you, an extra mile. Here you go. Go this mile. I have made an extra mile for you. See the point? I have made some more problems for you. I have made an extra mile for you to go. Go this mile. Not I have done. See? I have done an extra mile for you. I'm a good man. I've done something for you. But I have made an extra mile for you. Go this mile. It's for you. So that's funny. I'm terribly sorry for the delay here because I was making some further investigation again. Doing investigation, not making, not creating. Passive or active. Passive or active. Very interesting. Quite often people make mistakes with that. So your site is not displayed right now. But a native speaker would say it is not displaying. Why? Yes, that's the behavior of the system. If you say your site is not displayed, it's like someone taking a page. So the page, this page is being displayed by me. Displayed by me. Your site is not displaying. This is the behavior of the system. Не відображається, but I'm not to blame for that. It's not my fault. It's the system's fault. Customer wants to refund. What's that? Customer wants to refund.
Refund somebody. He wants to refund.
That's good. That's very good. And if you write like that, I guess you will be the one who will refund. Yeah, but it should be, of course, to be refunded. to be refunded. The customer does not want to refund. The customer wants to be refunded.
Can I tell he wants a refund?
Of course, he wants a refund. That's a different thing.
To get refund?
To get a refund, yeah. Also, high load is causing by and jinx. If you say by, is
Caused by.
yes, but how? What's the right grammar? What's the right grammar here? What's the correct tense? Is
Jinx is close.
It's caused.
is being caused. Present continuous passive. High load is being caused by and jinx. These are sentences by native speakers taken from the ticket. The site does not display properly. See? Display not is not displayed, but does not display properly. Only some pages are not displaying. See, they can use both present simple and present continuous to talk about errors. The site is not showing. Show as a synonym to display. The page is not showing, the site is not showing. The change is not applying. What's that? The change is not applying. If I give you the sentence, зміна не застосовується, I believe that most of you would write, the change is not applied. Maybe some who are a bit smarter would say is not being applied, but this is the level of a native speaker. To know when to use the passive and when to use the active voice. This is the technical English. I'm not talking about general English, only the technical IT English. The change is not applying. I want to apply it, but it's not applying. It's not applying, not working. Yeah, it won't apply. Another way. The server is not booting, it's not being booted. And if you say the server is not being booted, it means I, the support engineer, say it will not be booted because I said so, I'm not going to do it. But it's the server. It's the server's fault. I'm trying my best. I'm a good support engineer, but it's the server's fault. Okay, let's talk about the word allow. Very interesting word. So many mistakes. Almost every time I see the word allow, then there is a mistake. You're talking about Web Host Manager access, and I'm asking you to allow to connect. To allow to connect. AutoSSL doesn't allow to use. It doesn't allow to increase. It allows to avoid problems. See? If I asked you to translate these three sentences from Ukrainian into English, how many of you would make the same mistake? Because all of them are incorrect. All of them. What's wrong? Allow plus gerund. Allow connecting. Allow using. Allow increasing. Allow avoiding. It doesn't allow me to do something, but it allows doing something. I'll show you an interesting image. Let's learn from the Chinese. From the Chinese. See? They have good English teachers, and that's how they teach. Allow somebody to do something. Yes, allow me to do something. But there's no somebody, it's allow doing. Allow doing. If it's the passive construction, I'm not allowed to play computer games. If it's a passive construction, then there's no gerund. I'm not allowed to do something. Something does not allow me to do something, but something doesn't allow doing. You guys have a choice. Either you take the English version or the Chinese one, whichever is simpler for you to understand. But guys, something has to change. Let's be like Michael Jordan's. Let's finish with our 9,000 missed shots. Let's start to use allow with gerund wherever it's proper. Okay, let's talk about the Spider-Man now. The Spider-Man, who is the Spider-Man? Someone with a special talent. And who has a special talent? Great power comes with great power comes great responsibility. So let's talk about the responsibility. And not just of humans, but of servers. The responsibility and of IPs. Your new IP is responsible now. Now what does it say, guys? Now your IP has got the superpower. Yes, your IP is now responsible. Finally, it's about time it became responsible. Or your server is unresponsible. I'm sorry, but your server doesn't have any superpowers and it's a very bad person. That's what your server is. So what's the right way? What's the right way, guys?
Responding.
Okay, respond is not responding. What about an adjective? Responsive. I think I have that. Page is unresponsive. This is the IT word. Not responsible or there is no such word unresponsible. There's irresponsible if you're talking about a person. But here, I think you've all seen this. this image, right? Sometime in your life you all see that. So the following pages have become unresponsive. Kill or wait. Unresponsive. Now, how to up your game and talk to girls. What am I talking about? Upping your game and talking to girls? Who knows this expression, to up your game?
To increase.
Well, okay, to increase. Up your game. So you're a player. So and the coach tells you have to up your game. So improve, play better, right? To improve. Now, here's an expression. We're talking about the word up here. Now, here's an example from the Urban Dictionary. You need to up your game, bro. She's not going to fall for you if you keep acting like a coward. You need to up your game, bro. Now, we're going to use the same word up. Using here, up is a verb, right? Do you all agree? Up is a verb. Improve. Now, I'm going to show the same word up in the IT context. This is how the word up should not be used in the IT context. Okay? Here, if someone writes upped, it means improved. Made better. Okay, let's translate this sentence. No, the server is not configured to be back improved. Of course, it should be improved back in this case. Are we talking about improving here? Definitely not. There is no such word as backupping. There is backing up. And of course, nothing can be backupped. Well, maybe your back can be upped. Maybe your condition, the condition of your back can be upped, but it's a whole different thing. So what's the right thing here? No, the server is not configured to be
Back it up.
backed up. Yeah. Guys, would you like to ask some questions? Now is the right time. We've spent some time talking about all those interesting things again. Little things, but that play a big role in understanding whether you are a native speaker or not. It's very simple. You don't have to be a detective to understand whether this person is a native speaker or not. You just pay attention to the little things, the articles, the prepositions. Now, also one word that has multiple meanings, among and between. One word, so the choice of those words. See? It's very important to pay attention to little details. And this is the call of the whole 2-day seminar, to pay attention to little things. Now, questions. Take your time. We don't have. If you have to go, yeah, please go. But if you can stay and ask questions, now is the right time to ask questions about all kinds of constructions, whatever you'd like to know more about. So,
Can we get a presentation?
can you get this presentation
On YouTube.
on YouTube? Yes.
Email.
Where?
Via email. Sent via.
Via email. Yes, I think you can get this presentation sent via email.
You can subscribe to Slavko's channel, and I think you will get all the updates.
I have a question to Vitaly Tomchishin. Vitaly, what's the right way? To subscribe on someone's channel or to subscribe to someone's channel? Vitaly, you have to make your choice. This is not between them and you, it's just between you and me. Make your choice. You subscribe on someone's channel or to someone's channel? Sorry?
Subscribe to.
Yes, it's subscribe to, but you were hesitating. You were hesitating. Well, yeah, it's subscribe to. Oh, you were distracted. So, exactly. Okay, good. Any other questions? Other questions?
Another questions?
Any other questions? So, I have a question to Alexander Melnik. Alexander Melnik, yes, I have a question to you, specifically to you. Please, translate the sentence. Вы можете знайтися в интернете. Ви можете знайтися в интернете. Don't listen to anyone. Don't listen to anyone. Ви можете знайтися в интернете. Yeah, we're finishing. It's 5 minutes to the end. So,
You can find it in
you heard it. You heard it. See? That's the same thing. You've watched this, the present, you've heard me speaking for an hour, and then you will make the same mistakes over and over again.
4,000 mistakes.
Okay, that's the part. 5,000 to go. Okay, 5,000 to go. What's the right way? Well, it's not what's the right way. Yes, of course. It's on the internet.
You may Google it.